Yeah, we don't have a viewers yet. I'm just sharing from my account as well. We're just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes, just so everyone comes up. Yeah. Hey, you guys can go and play on your person or your page, whatever the method you want. We're actually growing the audience right now. It's just going up. Just another minute, if you guys don't mind, so that we actually people to watch it. Yeah, I guess we should.
Let's do this.
I just want to wait 2 minutes more. Is it on?
Based on unknown.
Yeah. I guess I'll wait 1 more minute or we should be starting.
I think we can go. Yeah, I think
Yeah, as you guys are ready, and we're going with the very awkward part, that is interesting to the show. So hello guys, after such a season one, this is Freshly back with Unmukto Vasha, that means my name, just summarize the show as well, that is Unmukto Vasha. And with me is my another co-host, Nafranai, and our guests from Team Can, Sameer, Unayza, and Audrika. Few of the individuals has free up of their time and come to our show and be a part of it, and we are very grateful to them. And about the Mukta this time, last time we actually had a good thing, but we had to stop it. I guess this time we will lead to with that. So with that, nothing, let me just introduce the episode that we are going to talk about. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Nafira. I will be the co-host for today's episode. And today we will be talking about elitism. We'll be basically talking about if elitism is society's biggest flaw and all the things that fall into it and how it causes discrimination and elitism in general.
Thank you. Can you just introduce yourself and the show by starting with Unayza, then Audrika, and the last, sorry. Yeah, when I said last, he actually went out.
Okay, let's start with Audrika. I'll just have to catch the door.
Yeah, Audrika can go on. Yeah, start off.
Hello, I am Salsabil Audrika. I am 19-year-old and I am currently doing my A2 in Mastermind Uttara. I joined Sameer Scane very early, in a very early age, as in when it first started. So Yeah, about Unmukto Vasha, I'm really glad that I'm being able to do this live with you guys, because personally, I am a very opinionated person. You know, I have my opinions about everything. Mm, Most of the times, people don't agree with it, but I don't run away from expressing them. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me.
We're delighted to have you. Uh, Unayza Anika. That is what we call online problems 101. Issue freeze. Oh,
Onaiza, I
Unayza,
think you're muted.
you are muted, I guess so.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Unayza, and আমি হচ্ছে previously রাজপুত্র মডেল কলেজে পড়তাম আর এখন হচ্ছে UWC কোস্টারিকা যাচ্ছি. So yeah, Sameer, the floor is yours.
Sameer, yeah, I guess he's just adjusting his camera right now.
Yeah, all right. I'm so sorry. Actually, now I'm fully ready to go.
Yeah, go on. Yes.
Actually, yeah, so what's happening? Should I introduce myself?
And your channel as well.
Sorry?
Oh, you can just go into yourself and the channel as well.
Actually, so basically, I'm an 18-year-old Bangladeshi Australian content creator. Me and my team, we have a team of 12. We make videos on social issues that are unheard but are silenced, like the sections of people in Bangladesh that don't have a voice but are silenced. যেরকম আমরা বলতে পারি the transgenders বা আমাদের workers who face exploitation. So basically, 6 months ago, আমি Salsabil আর অন্য দুইজন, we started creating videos. Like, how can we reach the mass? So আমরা ভাবলাম content creation. We're going to try and voice these people, যাদের কোনো voice নাই, maybe give them a platform to share all their problems and concerns. So we started 6 months ago. We've made 9 videos so far. It's going amazingly well. আমরা এত ভালো যাবে এটা জীবনে কোনো ভাবতে পারিনি. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's who we are.
Thank you, Sameer. I'll just go with this is a general statement or the summarization of what to think of this episode or what are we going to talk about, starting from you as well. Yeah,
You want me to say something
on the episode, what you guys think of it. Yeah, or
I
what
think
you
it's really
prefer.
good. I think it's really good exposure for us because আমাদের active video বানাতে it takes about a month. So for us to be able to discuss smaller issues which we can't cover at the easily, it's an amazing opportunity again. We can't wait to talk about elitism.
Yeah, Unayza,
Yeah, I think elitism like এমন একটা জিনিস যেটা প্রত্যেক সোশ্যাল লাইক একটা লাইক ইটস লাইক এ কোর পার্ট অফ বাংলাদেশ, যেটা হচ্ছে আমাদের সব সোশ্যাল ইস্যুজে একটা পার্ট প্লে করে, রাইট? সো মানে even like any kinds of issues that the country is facing in terms of employment or in terms of women empowerment, like every spot কিন্তু আমরা দেখতে পারি যে elitismটা কিছুটা না কিছু একটা প্লে আছে at hand. And I think the best way we can actually try to solve it is মানুষদেরকে first of all acknowledge করা লাগবে যে it exists, রাইট? কারণ আমি দেখি যে অনেক আমার I'd say যে আমরা যারা এই কলে আছি আমরা স্টিল অনেক প্রিভিলেজড কিন্তু, রাইট? আমরা স্টিল লাইক মানে we don't have to worry about যে আমাদের 1 মাস পর আমাদের পেটে খাবার আসবেন কিনা, আমাদের পকেটে টাকা থাকবে কিনা, রাইট? সো আই থিঙ্ক আমাদেরকে এরকম আমাদের মতো মানুষের ফার্স্ট অফ অল এই জিনিসটা acknowledge করা দরকার যে elitism কত লেভেলে এক্সিস্ট করে within our own parameter, right? And yeah, I think that's where it all starts. So like when privileged people of the society start to acknowledge that we are we are a part of that elitism to begin with. That's when that change begins, right? So that's when I think even Sameer Thekeo, like there was a lot of efforts from our page as well to like show people how privilege works. And আমাদের একটা অনেক পপুলার একটা পোস্ট ছিল where um, Sameer like posted about how he was walking Puran Dhakai, right? Puran Dhaka
Yeah,
রাস্তায়
bongo
এবং
baja.
বঙ্গবাজারের ওইদিকে and ও হচ্ছে দেখলো যে ওর বয়সী একটা ছেলে, মানে ওর বয়সী একটা ছেলে এরকম like he's just sleeping on the street, right? And like এরকম সময় ওর একটা how he had like he had a self realization moment যে ও আমার same বয়সী, but or probably কখনো like he doesn't even know, like he probably doesn't have an education, he probably has to work even though he's a child, right? So এরকম জিনিস like সবসময় like সামিরের প্রিভিলেজটাই ছিল যে ও ওখানে গিয়ে এটা দেখতে পারছে। অনেক মানুষ কিন্তু এই এক্সপোজারটাও পায় না। সো আই থিঙ্ক আমাদের এফোর্টস যারা আমরা এই লেভেল অফ সোশ্যাল ডিসপ্যারিটি বা সোশ্যাল ডিফারেন্সটা দেখতে পারছি, এই জিনিসগুলো লাইমলাইটে আনা অনেক ইম্পর্টেন্ট জাস্ট ফর আ চেঞ্জ টু ইভেন বিগিন। And I think Sameer's scene থেকে আমরা অনেক effort দেই to shed light on these kinds of issues. Elitism in general, which has been, something a pressing issue that we've always talked about. So yeah. You're muted.
Audrika, you can just go on.
All right. Yeah, so I think elitism in general is a very irrational belief, because acknowledging privilege is different. Saying that I'm rich is different than saying that I'm elite. It's a very negative idea. To say that you're elite, you have to bring someone else down. It's not like you're doing it ইচ্ছা করে, but you're doing it in the process of saying যে I am superior. You're actually saying just someone else is inferior. এবং it's not only happening if you have money, just power, অথবা you're doing something cool, but simply speaking English বা speaking Bangla, কেউ একজন বলে যে just because কেউ বাংলা বলতেছে, just because কেউ ইংলিশ বলতে পারে না, I'm elite, আমি হচ্ছে ওর থেকে better. And that's the idea we should move away from. যে just because someone else is different than I am, but someone else is in a different class, cannot afford this or that, it does not mean যে ওই মানুষটা in itself is inferior অথবা demeanable. I think এই আইডিয়াটা থেকে যদি আমরা ওই again equality in belief যদি আমরা আনতে পারি যে no matter where a person is, what they wear, what they eat, they're a human being to begin with, তাহলে I think we can get rid of all the other problems that exist in society.
Thank you, Audrika. I will be asking the first question now. So, you know how elitism works within the cyberspace. I mean, even on social media, elitism is still like a very big part of it. So we would want to get into a discussion about that.
You want me to start?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so actually I was like thinking, right, there's two types of people on Dhaka social media. You would have actor kind of person who'd be, they would have a profile picture with the Bapri BMW Samne, they would be taking their profile picture. They'd be the ones, they would only post social media stories when they're at Butlers, but when they're at Gloria Jeans. Okay, these people are insecure. They have to act fake on social media to kind of people to show that they're cooler, like Jeta Salsabil was saying. They're not happy, okay? Or social media that like they're trying to have that show that they're superior, or they're also trying to show to the world that I'm ekhane while you guys are there. And who they're telling to that shit, like that they're there are the people who'd be going to Star Kebab, but they'd be going to Bongo Baja and they'd be posting a story there. Those are the humble, simple people. They're the good ones. They don't have any insecurities. They're much more happier. Okay? They're not trying to prove anything to anyone. They're simple people and they're happy people. While jara people who are trying to be fake on social media, it just doesn't count. Like if আমি যদি এখন আমার বাবার গাড়িতে if I try and flex, it's just not it. It's not your thing. It's being fake. You're trying to be someone who you're not, and you're trying to show others that you're up there. You're not up there. Shobe is on the same level, and it should be like that. Okay? But yeah, that's an example of the cyberspace and how we see different types of people in Bangladeshi social bubble these days.
I think I would like to mention one thing. You know how I was talking about superficial things and how that makes us elite. So Instagram or Facebook, money is not the only thing that people show off, but cars and expensive dresses is not the only thing they show off. They show off something very superficial and that has no meaning in life. Followers and likes and comments, even though to for a page or for a company or organization, those are important because they're saying something, they're putting something out there. For a single person, I think those followers have no meaning. But then again, those Instagram influencers who have thousands of followers, they just, are out there and showing off their followers who they don't even know. And that's why they're elite. So again, we need to come out of that and find out what truly matters uh, in life and what truly has existence in our life, and give that importance rather than trying to be elite, something that is very superficial and non-existent, that has no meaning in our real life. Yeah, I think that what
Complementary.
was said,
That, yeah, that's the kind of
that's
thing.
what happens. Like, I'm cool because I have 20 more followers than you.
No, I think it's to the point where I've kind of had to communicate with people who have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers. কয়েকজনকে দেখবা once they hit 10,000, they won't even they're going to make sure that they take that 24 hours before they reply to your DM because, that's what they can do. Or their
And
inbox
they're
is
cool.
filled with lots of DMs. They're cool. They won't be replying to your DM within an hour. That's just the way it works. So if you want to talk about social media elite, those are the people like you watch, I'm an influencer. I can do so and so. And I hate that tag. I'm okay. Friend অনেক সময় they have fun watching you're an influencer now. I hate that tag. I think it's becoming quite negative and rightfully so. কয়েকজন they're just really I don't want to be called an influencer and have those negative associations with it. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, their behavior changes even in normal social hangouts. You're sitting there, you're talking, they can't have a human interaction. They'll just take a picture, post it on Instagram, and I'm with friends and everything. But are they really? They're on Instagram talking to their followers. God knows where the followers are.
I kind of want to add something. So I saw this Instagram influencer having 600K followers. If I'm not wrong about Instagram algorithm, that means 1/10 of your followers do like your post. But when I actually went to that person's Instagram account, she had 600,000 followers, but every post that she posted is like 600 likes. That actually tells me that how interactive or how much attention span that her account gets in general life. No offense to anyone, but that actually clears out what I want to try to set out like right now. But yeah, I guess yeah. So I guess Unayza was left to speak about it, if I'm not wrong.
I mean, I pretty much agree. Salsabil আর সামির যেটা বলছে যে ইনস্টাগ্রামে ইন জেনারেল একটা ফর্ম অফ এলিটিজম কাজ করে, and লাইক আমরা মানুষদেরকে ছোট ফিল করাই বিকজ অফ আমাদের যেগুলো আছে আর ওদের যেগুলো নাই. So I think মানে it's like it's the best platform to talk about elitism in general. কারণ ইনস্টাগ্রামে আই থিঙ্ক মানুষ অনেক কম্পেয়ার করে যে আচ্ছা আমি ওর মতো বড় লোক না বা আমার ওর মতো ফলোয়ার নাই। So I think yeah, Instagram is one of those places যেখানে এই জিনিসটা অনেক prevalent and every day এটা হয়. So definitely I think it's one of those platforms যেখানে করা উচিত।
I want to
Yeah,
add to that. I want to add to that a
yeah,
bit.
sure.
Like, একটা জিনিস which I always ask myself recently is, আমাদের কিন্তু follower খুবই কম in relation to our views. আমাদের
Yeah,
videos আমাদের last one got 110,000. ওইটার আগেরটা got about, I think, 7,000. আমাদের follower Instagram, it's not even 4,000. On the Facebook, it's a bit over 4,000. But our views are that high. So I ask myself, does followers really matter? মানে তখন I kind of think of the purpose যে আমরা তো ভিডিও রিচটা চাচ্ছি, we want to start conversations. So would I rather have 110,000 followers নাকি would I rather have 110,000 views? Definitely views. মানে ওই যে Instagram এ ঢুকলে you kind of get distracted, watch a follower এটা. Follower doesn't matter. For us it's always going to be the views, because for us it's not watch a views পালে আমরা clout পাবো. For us হচ্ছে views পালে we can reach more people and hopefully we can start more conversations আর কি and make more of a difference, because that's what we do আর কি এখানে. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess everyone has their say. I'll just move to the second question, which is I'll go into a context here. It's basically the basic definition we know is the NCTB curriculum and the Cambridge or edX or IB curriculum that we know. The sheer differentiation we have between these people to that people, just so that they go to a different institution or different curriculum or a different background, has created a certain amount of difference between the people. And how do you guys think that contributes to the factor that some sort of differentiation or the difference are created which creates segregation among the people? How do you guys want to address that thing? If I'm not wrong, I'm from NCTV and Unayza is from NCTV previously, and others are from IB, Cambridge, or edX. So I am, yeah. So yeah. I'll let Unayza to do it first because NCTV go. So yeah.
I think it's interesting কারণ আমি former NCTV and now IB, so in a way I've been everywhere, but in general যখন আমি even school life এ আমি যখন um, আমার অনেক friends আছে যারা A levels থেকে বা English medium থেকে, and আমি যখন like obviously like একটা stigma আছে যে English mediums are by born elitist, ঠিক আছে? And I think while that might be true in a lot of cases, আমি also বলতে চাই যে a few of the English medium people that I met in my life were the most humble people I've met, even more humble than a few NCTB kids I met, right? So I think more than I think it's a bit narrow, like our thought process. যে NCTB money, you're gonna be Kamla, and English medium money, you're gonna be elitist. I think it's the perspective should change. যে regardless of which curriculum you're from, তোমার teachingটা or তোমার set of beliefs craft whether or not you're elite, or whether or not show off যে তুমি এর চেয়ে বড়, like একটা superiority complex তোমার ভিতর হয় না কিনা, it all depends on নিজের set of beliefs. So এটার মধ্যে like even NCTV তেও আমি কিছু মানুষদেরকে দেখছি যাদের elitism কাজ করতো, because মনে করো ওর বাবা হচ্ছে আর্মিতে, বা ওর বাবা হচ্ছে একটা certain political political কোনো পার্টিকে like support করে করে। So এরকম জিনিসেও like elitism I don't think can be separated on English medium or NCTV, even though like অনেক common cases আছে, but I still think it's something that happens because of people neglecting or not acknowledging their privilege. So it all comes down to that for me personally, because I've interacted with a lot of people like দুই side থেকে. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Sameer, as you have lived in abroad for a very long time.
Yeah, so basically for me, I'm not the most connected to Dhaka's social media bubble, but Dhaka's schooler bubble as well. But from what I've understood and noticed, there's this very big divide. English medium একটা, বাংলা medium আরেকটা। And বাংলা medium-এর সাথে অনেক association আছে, আর English medium-এর সাথে অনেক, like Unayza said, that English medium we think of elitist people. এরা Gulshan Bonani থাকবে, they'll be going to the top schools like Sunbeam, Scholastica, etc. While Bangla medium would be like Rajuk and stuff. And like a hatred form করে গেছে, like kind of like the divide. And to me that's quite concerning, because দুজন কে ভাববে that they're Kamla and whatnot, like, and that's not right, actually. I feel like both kind of try to undermine each other. And if you want to talk about elitism, Unayza put it perfectly in the sense that Bangla medium school, who said you won't have elites, like, if your dad's an army general or something, chances are you'd be going to Bangla medium school. And why kind of you would get the same thing, you would have the same elitist kids who'd be, thinking that they're someone who they're not, and they would do the same things, where you'd have people in English medium schools doing the same thing. So, yeah.
I think সবচেয়ে main problemটা হচ্ছে যে when you see a person and you ask their schools and everything, that's the first thing, right? I'm in Mastermind and Unayza is in Rajuk. That's the first thing we discuss. We immediately form an opinion. Je, maybe she's elitist and maybe she's Kamla. We do not give each other the opportunity to introduce ourselves and talk. Je, talk it out. Je, acha na, I have these beliefs, I have these beliefs, because it doesn't matter je tumi kon education background theke আসতেছো. Again, it matters what your principles, your beliefs are. কিছু কিছু মানুষ, the kids especially, they're so into saying that I'm rich, when in reality they don't even earn a penny. Like, it's your dad's money, right? You're not rich, you're no one even knows you, right? You're just a student. Like, you are a student. তুমি বাংলা মিডিয়ামে পড়ো আর ইংলিশ মিডিয়ামে পড়ো, you're just a student studying, you're getting there probably. So doesn't matter if you're army general or political party কেউ বা হচ্ছে some big position in a big company, you're still just a student. So I think আমাদের নিজেদেরকে ওই জায়গা থেকেই দেখা উচিত যে without our dad, if they kicked us out in abroad, just kids get out of their house when they're 18, right? If our parents did that, we would actually be similar. Doesn't matter if we come from English medium or Bangla medium. So we need to give ourselves that reality check. We need to think of ourselves like that. Like individuals, who are we? Individually যদি চিন্তা করি, then all we are is our beliefs, our education, what we know. That's what we are. And ওইটা দিয়ে নিজেকে differentiate করা দরকার আরেকজনের থেকে. Obviously, if you have a better thought than someone else, if you can do something better than someone else, you are somewhat better than someone else, but doesn't give you the right to demean someone else and decide যে they're Kamla and they're elitist. So yeah.
I just wanted to add a little bit to that. Sorry, were you speaking?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add a little bit to that, since even though I'm in Green Herald now, I was in Scholastica for all my life. Like right before I left Scholastica right before A levels, and Scholastica, as Sameer also mentioned, is considered to be, I mean, it's pretty famous for, like, I don't know, it's kind of an expensive institution, and people kind of just know Scholastica to be so-called elite and being elitist and stuff. So I've personally been in that position where people automatically thought I'd be somebody who wouldn't be humble, or like I wouldn't be talking to someone without being completely rude to them. That is like, on days like that, things like this really get to you, because I remember being in a very weird stage of my life where I actually thought that not being rude is just being dumb and being stupid and not being cool enough. So I think that part of it, and then I got my reality check pretty late, actually. I got my reality check when I shifted to Green Herald, and I realized, oh wait, you actually have to be nice to people. That's just like common decency. So yeah, I'm not saying Scholastica. I've had the most nicest people in Scholastica. I literally live with people from Scholastica because they're just so nice. But yeah, everywhere there is elitism every single where, even like in your so-called elitist places. So yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add something more that it is not only money or any materialistic thing that actually hampers between us in elitism. It also happens what are we mixing with people. For example, I'm friends with certain someone that makes me elitist. I have certain friend circle that does not allow anyone else. That is also an elitism, and we left out this entire thing in our entire school. I guess we are pretty much aware of elitism that also exists in our classroom as well. The same classroom, the same dress we wear, the same reason we wear the same uniform is also a reason we are elitist. For example, when Unayza said about the army brat, just to not talk about that specific thing, but I have seen certain institutions, not only that, but in other places as well, they show that they're elitist in some sense of whatnot. It's okay that your father is a very big thing, but it is not okay that you will represent him. Uh, so, Nafri, you can go with the third question.
Yeah, the third question is actually a bit related to our last conversation because words like Kamla came up quite a bit times. So when we use Kamla, we normally use Kuri Warta. However, there are certain words that we usually use to degrade people in general. Like we don't usually use it in a very positive context, right? So words like Kamla and cringe, they don't really like Kamla. The word Kamla is kind of coming from, again, elitism, when we're actually using this term to degrade people because of their social status. Because if we get the literal the definition of Kamla, it is for someone who works labor, right? A labor worker. So yeah, what do you guys have to say about terms that we use, like slangs and degradatory terms based on social statuses?
I think it sort of has to do with no offense against someone's parenting, but it's what has to do with parenting and how how kids sometimes are given the right to shout with their homemates or their drivers or the supporting stuff in general. I think it comes with that. A 5-year-old should not be allowed to shout with their housemates or drivers. Surely they're working for you for money, but so is our dads and our moms, right? They're working for someone in a company for money. So their boss, when they get instructions, they don't they don't get instructions from a 5-year-old, or when they get instruction, they don't get shouted at, they don't get scolded for no reason. So a 5-year-old should be taught that sense of decency, that even though they're not from the same class, you should respect them. In general, you should respect them for being a human being, and they're not someone different. You know how rich kids or the privileged kids, I am privileged, but someone, it sort of gets to them when the parents behave the same. I think the adults in a household should not behave rudely with homemaids or supporting stuffs, so that the kids do not learn that, so that the kids learn that they are the same kind of people. We're not born thinking that someone is different from us. We learn that gradually. So if we're never taught about that difference, I don't think we would make that difference. We would create that kamla, or difference between the people who are in a lower class or earns less than our parents.
Yeah, thank you. Unayza, you can just take the floor.
Um, do you want to answer the question or?
Uh, just mix it up for as you like to answer the question and the question we said, just on how
Okay.
you would like to address. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
am just getting your theme.
আমার যেটা মনে হয় যে যখন আমরা একজনকে কামলা ডাকি and the কামলা ওয়ার্ডের যে হিস্ট্রিটা আমাদেরকে বললো, দেখো এখন জিনিসটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা কিন্তু রিয়েলাইজ করি না যে আমরাও কিন্তু ওই এক্সাক্ট সিচুয়েশনে থাকতে পারতাম, আমরাও কিন্তু একটা লাইক লেস প্রিভিলেজড ফ্যামিলিতে বর্ন হতে পারতাম। ইটস জাস্ট অ্যাবাউট লাক, রাইট? সো এই লাক জিনিসটা যে ইটস মানে এটা আমরা কখনো রিয়েলাইজ করি না যে আমরাও কিন্তু ওর পজিশনে থাকতে পারতাম ইফ আমার বাবা না হতো, বা আমি যে ফ্যামিলিতে বর্ন হয়েছি ওই ফ্যামিলিতে যদি আমি বর্ন না হতাম। এখন এই জিনিসটা আই থিঙ্ক a lot of people বুঝে না, and the more rich a person is, the more detached they are from seeing this world. So আমার বাসায় মনে করো আমি তাও আমার বাসায় মনে করো হেল্পার্স আছে, তাদের সাথে আমার ইন্টারাকশন হয়, তো আমার মধ্যে প্রবাবলি একটা লেভেল অফ সিম্পথি কাজ করবে প্রবাবলি। কিন্তু একটা মানুষ যার বাসায় ওরকম হাউস হেল্পারদের সাথে ওরকম ইন্টারাকশনটা ওপেন না, ওর কাছে কিন্তু এরা হচ্ছে মানুষ হিসেবে ওরা দেখবে না, ওরা দেখবে হচ্ছে আমার ওয়ার্কার, রাইট? ওরা দেখবে যে হচ্ছে এ আমার আন্ডারে কাজ করে। So I think that's where the superiority complex comes in, and that's where they get blinded by their privilege and the elitism comes into place. And so I think the point in time আমরা এই মানুষ ওয়ার্কিং ক্লাস ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালস দেরকে মানুষ হিসাবে না দেখে জাস্ট দেখি ফর দেয়ার প্রফেশন, যে আচ্ছা ও আমার বাসায় ঘর মুছে, বা ও আমার বাসায় ঝাড়ু দেয়, অথবা ও আমার ড্রাইভার। So I think what we need to teach children and or teach ourselves in general, যেরকম আমাদেরকে নাফিরা বললো যে ও কিন্তু আনলার্ন করছে যে I have to be nice to everyone, right? And I think social media জিনিসটা or the content that Sameer makes is so important in helping people unlearn those things, unlearn elitism or unlearn their internal misogyny. So I think আমাদের online platforms or the kinds of content creators like Sameer play a very important role in helping these privileged kids unlearn those things that probably we didn't learn from our parents or we didn't learn in our schools, right? So I think এই যে ওদেরকে একটা মানুষ হিসেবে দেখা হচ্ছে আমাদের ফার্স্ট প্রায়োরিটি হওয়া উচিত in order to like stop people from using this kind of word. So yeah.
Would you like to answer the question as well? I guess.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think high school series have like a big play. I think high school series in general have a play in a lot of things, a lot of problems that we have. Because like for example, I think one of the recent examples can be like how 13 Reasons Why they care, like people thought being sad is having depression looks a certain way, right? And I think it set a very bad misconception আমাদের youngsterদের মধ্যে on what depression looks like or the kinds of things that lead to depression. And I think but I think it's also good that these shows exist, কারণ যখন এইসব shows flop করে বা when there's certain amount of conversation regarding these shows, that's when platforms like ours, like Sameer's, and we're encouraged to talk about this, and we're encouraged to criticize these shows and like show যে কোথায় ভুলটা exactly আছে। And and that's when like people actually reach out to professions, like people whose profession who are like expert in these fields, right? So even দেখো করোনা ভাইরাসের জিনিসটা, যে আমরা কিন্তু এখন ডক্টরসদের কথা বেশি শোনা শুরু করছি মোর দেন ইয়েলো জার্নালিজম অর এটসেট্রা। আই থিঙ্ক ইটস অ্যাবাউট লাইক ওই আর্জেন্সিটা রেজ করা, এন্ড আই থিঙ্ক এই টিভি সিরিয়াল গুলো ওই আর্জেন্সিটা আমাদের মধ্যে রেজ করে যে এটা তো একটা রং পোর্ট্রেয়াল, হ্যাঁ, so how can we fix this portrayal by talking about it, by like criticizing it? So yeah, I think even though these shows exist, which shouldn't, it's still good because there are platforms like Sameer and a lot of other platforms that counter attack the kinds of norms that these shows try to build.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Unayza. Samuel, can you just go on?
I'll talk more about Bangla Natakar portrayal, yeah? I do watch a lot of Bangla Nataks these days, and Okano, it's quite interesting because Uttar high school portrayal is probably much more prevalent to what happens in Dhaka. So in terms of that, you'll see that the most popular kids which at Dhaka high school are the people who come are from a position of power. Like Ode Babara would be a certain powerful figure. And again, Uta points to the fact that so many of us are defined by our parents. We shouldn't be defined by who our father is. It's just not it. Like, we're our own people. I mean, I take example, Dhaka, you'll see people, I mean, I said at the start of the live, you'll see people posting photos with their dad's cars. Ato hub hub dakar dorkan, it's not your car. Like, there's nothing to be showing off or to wearing your dad's shades and wearing your dad's car. It's just not it. That's not your thing. You shouldn't be proud of it, and you shouldn't be thinking that you're cool doing that. Well, I have a friend, because I'm only 18, I'm a friend, they're buying their own Purana hatchback or a 2002 একটা গাড়ি কিনবে ভাঙা পুরা with their own money. Can they be proud of that? Yes, they can. They needed their right, they earned it. It's 100% theirs. Kintu to go to Dhaka to open up my story to see people flexing their cars or kiki kinse and whatnot, it's so disappointing. Man, it's sickening for me, because I'm seeing something where people are being more down to earth, earning what they money. It's something which they did with their own means. Well, Dhaka gale, if you see so many of these people, these so-called popular kids, যারা আমাকে message পাঠায় বলবে আচ্ছা ঢাকা আসলে we will see like what that will happen. Like, they're gonna like threaten us and act on a level which they're not. They're the same people who are, living up to the definition of elitists. And yeah, it's just very sickening.
I think
Yeah.
I'd like to add to that.
Yeah. Well,
Bangladesh, if there were more job opportunities for teenagers, তাহলে they would understand the value of money. Because we don't earn, because that's why we don't understand যে একটা টাকা কামাইতে ঠিক কতটুকু কষ্ট করতে হয়, তখন we would realize যে একটা গাড়ি কিনতে আসলে ঠিক কতটা হার্ড ওয়ার্ক করতে হয়েছে. I would like to give an example, talk about my mom. She told me once, I was having a bottle of Coke গাড়িতে বসে, and she was telling me যে about 20 years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, I was in your situation, but outside of the car, watching some other girl drinking Coke in a car. She was not as privileged as I am. So she worked hard and she got where she is to give me the life that I have. Nothing is for free. So if we had the opportunity to work, if we had the opportunity to earn, understand যে হচ্ছে বাপের টাকা যে show off করতেছি, they did not just get it in one day. They had to struggle, they had to work hard, they had to burn their sweat and tears and everything, and that's how they gave us that life.
that's
Yeah, I would like to add. Sorry, I keep.
go on. I guess nothing got
Disconnected.
freeze. I'll just continue what I wanted to add. That I agreed all of you when Bapet Takai Dekhano. And this is what we see in our times, in especially Dhaka, that they do so. I have seen certain individuals in social media saying these one. Yeah. I actually nothing even more.
Yeah, sorry, my internet. Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit to what Audrika said, because I have recently started working. Like, I've been working for a while, but like they weren't stuff that I did on my own. I always got work through my parents, because like I danced for as long as I can remember, and that's something I got from my family. It's not like I earned it on my own. But recently I got like a job of my own, and people who know me, they know that I took that, like the first time that I got my own money, I actually took my parents out for like dinner, and trust me, that feels 10 times better than like spending your mom's money or spending your dad's money. It wasn't something big, obviously, but it felt good. And like, again, I think I get this part, because again, no offense to like how people decide to parent other people, but understand that parents do play a huge role in your life. Because I remember when I was young, I actually remember this whole scenario so vividly, because I remember sitting with my mom, and we had a new house help, she came, like she was a new person in the family, and I've always learned that they are a part of our family. So I'd just be like, why do I have to call her Apu? 'Cause you know how we always call আমার সবাইকে address করি না ভাই আপু করে, at least Bangladesh. Our cousins, right? I don't like, yeah, I know I love my cousins, but they didn't really address them as bhaias and apus. And I asked my mom, why do I have to address them as bhaias and apus? And she's like, why do you address your cousins? They're like of the same age, right? You can ask you, if you can address your cousin, you can address her as Apu as well. And that's, I think, where everything just starts, because that's the first time I realized that you don't have to respect them because they work for us. You have to respect them because they're a human being, and they're just like, you guys are exactly same. Like, stop differentiating. So yeah.
I want to add a bit more to that in terms of house help, yeah? আমাদের ঢাকায় একজন বুয়া আছে, right? Since I was 7, I'd say. What's the difference between my bua and my mom? Both of them take care of me. Amar bua is almost like my second mom. Amar ma ekhane, she cooks, she takes care of me, she cleans up, she takes care of my clothes, all of that. My bua does the exact same thing, right? But then how come when I'm in Dhaka, I'm sleeping, Amar pashe, like when I was young at least, Amar bua would be sleeping on the floor on a mattress. Like that's not right. Because Amar ma, like both of them are like my mothers almost. Both of them take care of me, but Arjun gets to sleep on a king size bed, Arjun gets to sleep on the floor. And you know, it's those things when you're growing up and you're seeing that Dhaka, like they said, like you're born into it. You're born into this vicious system where it's just like that. You can't change much. Like as a child, you can't change it, and you're kind of thinking that it's normal. But that for someone like me, আমার কি হয়েছে, once I started going back, like once I moved to Australia, you in মানে like প্রত্যেকবার গেলে it really hits you. যে how come আমি সকালে উঠে I have breakfast on my table এখানে. Everything is just set up, everything is done. You don't have to worry about cleaning plates বা কিছু. It's so wrong, like the entire system. যে আসলে like they're going to take care of you completely, and if you're going to talk about money, they're very underpaid. Like no labor worker in Dhaka is paid highly enough. It's basically excused. Jacob Ekan, I'll give a short example. Yeah, Ekane plumbers are very highly paid. Okay, they're highly paid and they're respected. They'll have big houses and all of that. Dhaka ki hoy? Plumbers are the most neglected and সবচেয়ে খারাপ reputation একটা job. They're not paid anything at all. So it says a lot, okay, about society. And you know, what happened to me is, এখন when I go back, I treat my bua like my friend. I tell her about all of my problems, and you know, that's how it should be. You should mix with them on a friend to friend level. Like they don't work for you. You shouldn't look at it like that. They don't work for you. Just because you pay them does not mean you get to treat them like whatever. Okay? You should really have this kind of respect system, and as we grow and we mature, we should be very aware of those things. We have to respect each other and don't take it for granted. And this is not normal. Uta, if you remember that, like what we say, we're all very privileged. We have to acknowledge that. You know, once you're done acknowledging it, you have to act on it. Don't think that it is normal for 1 second. Understand, like, you know, this is something which is not normal, and you have to act accordingly and treat everyone with respect. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We had a question from audience. I will just extend that question to a further extent. Extend or extend করবো. So this is from Akida bin Tesla. Don't you guys think brown parents are also responsible to spoil children nowadays? I would like to add the fact that is brown parents also responsible? Are we also responsible to actually flex our dad's money because we want to be better than each other? In a vice versa situation. The question was related to parents, but I'll just add that isn't it a vice versa thing for both the people? Like we cannot, just like Nafia said, we can unlearn many things, but we have taught and whatnot. We just go on. Anyone can just answer it if they feel comfortable about it. So yeah.
Simple response to that হচ্ছে বাবা মারা কি দেখতেছে না that their kids are acting like this. Facebook, you have your parents on there probably. They're all seeing this. Some of them are completely okay with it. I think that kind of roots out from the fact that could be about parents, their family background as well. And এখানে you can point fingers. এটা এমন একটা জিনিস where you can definitely point fingers at the parents, because it's really up to them to kind of take care of a child's proper upbringing. And if they're not going to do that, that's on them. And I won't blame kids below the age of 12. Or their parents are seeing that and they're okay with it, then you know, it's just a very sad process, and there's nothing you can do much about it except blame the parents. I wouldn't blame a child who's below 12, you know, thinking that he's so and so because of his because of his father. I would expect the parents to know, and I would expect the parents to act on it, and try and give him a proper upbringing where he's humble and he's a simple guy rather than someone who is always trying to act like someone who he's not.
I understand a parent trying to give everything that he or she did not get. Like, yes, I definitely agree that brown parents are spoiling their children. But I also understand, Jay, you're trying to give your kids whatever you did not get. But at the same time, ওদেরকে শিখাইতে হবে যে এটা এমনি এমনি চলে আসতেছে না, you have to do something to get that, like the just don't give them an iPhone. Tell them যে পড়াশোনায় বা কোনো কিছুতে একটা ভালো করলে you're getting this as a reward. You have to do something to get something. I think that will work for them because again, like Sameer said, 12 year and niche hoche he wouldn't blame kids. I agree because 12 year upore you are a person, you're an individual, so you get to interact with other people and unlearn stuff that you learned. You get to differentiate and understand যে আসলে কোনটা কি। বাট ছোটবেলা থেকে যদি প্যারেন্টস হচ্ছে এই জিনিসটা করে যে র্যান্ডমলি না দিয়ে দিয়ে কোনো কিছুর একটা জন্য দেয়, তাহলে I think they wouldn't think যে yeah, I deserve this, I will definitely have to get whatever is new on the market.
Yeah. So I'll just add on it before you guys add. Basically, for me, I was pretty much born in a privileged family like all of you guys. I am probably lived in foreign as well for quite a long time, but I was sent back home as well. What I noticed my entire school, entire college, especially in college, I saw that big gap between people from this to that. My friends started to address me like, okay, Bhasha, you are from a privileged family. Hey, Bhasha, and that actually annoys me a lot in perspective wise. But I have seen people taking this entire thing on their way. Like, okay, bro, you have to respect me. And another thing I have always noticed in NCTV curriculum, especially, is the concept of calling Bhaiya Apu of 1 year and 1 year junior. I don't know if anybody in my college agrees to it or if anybody here agrees to it, but we actually need to get out of the absurd concept of calling Bhaiya Apu. You're just a 1 year older than him or her, and you have made a barrier that আমি অনেক বড়, so you have to respect me. Just বড় দেখে respect করবে, not because আমি এটা করতেছি or I'm trying to do something. I like that because that we have to get rid of the concept, especially in NCD curriculum. Yeah.
The
Sameer, now
borrow
you
yes.
I think
Sameer.
এটা একটা অনেক ডিপ রুটেড প্রবলেম আমাদের এই ব্রাউন কালচারে। আমি এটা বেশি দেখছি বিকজ এখন তো আমি ইউডব্লিউসি যাই, সো ওখানে কিন্তু কেউ কাউকে ভাইয়া বা এরকম কিছু, দের ইজ নো অ্যাডিশনাল সাফিক্স অর প্রিফিক্স, ঠিক আছে? আমরা জাস্ট যেই নাম ওটা ধরে ডাকি সিনিয়রদের, যাই হোক। বাট আই থিঙ্ক এটা হচ্ছে ব্রাউন কালচারটাতেই এটা অনেক ডিপ রুটেড, ওর এশিয়ান কালচারে মেবি ডিপ রুটেড। বাট মানে yeah, I think it does play a role in, like, initially we can understand যে এটা কেন বানানো হয়েছে, যে we want to show our elders respect. So আমি ওটা বুঝতে পারি, but I think কিছু মানুষ এটা অনেক ভুল ভাবে ইউজ করে যে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে আমার বাপের অনেক টাকা আছে, তো আমার সব জুনিয়ররা যদি আমাকে একটা সার্টেন লেভেল অফ রেসপেক্ট দেয় না, whether or not I earn that respect, ওদের আমাকে রেসপেক্ট করাই লাগবে কারণ I own a BMW, or আমার এক্স অ্যামাউন্ট অফ ইনস্টাগ্রাম ফলোয়ার্স আছে, আমাকে দেখলে সালাম দেওয়া লাগবে, or আমাকে দেখলে ভাইয়া ভালো আছেন এগুলো বলা লাগবে। So I think while the concept or the reason we call someone a bhaiya or apu does not have any malicious intent, আমরা ওটার মধ্যে কিছু এই যে এলিটিজমটা কাজ করতেছে and এই জন্য জিনিসটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে। So what started as a good thing was ruined by elitism and like privilege. So my opinion on this is very mixed, to be honest.
Yeah, Sameer, I guess you are not acquainted with the concept that side, but I guess you got the gist of what actually happens here.
হ্যাঁ, but ওটার থেকে what I've learned from watching বাংলা নাটকস হচ্ছে ragging হয়, like from this problem ragging is a huge problem because এই যে সিনিয়র জুনিয়র জিনিসটা So what happens for a child, for a guy entering Buet? এখন আমি যদি Buet first year হইতাম, and I stayed at the dorms, within my first week, I would have been taken to a room and bashed by Kara, your senior bhaias, because senior bhaias want the first years to know who is boss. Bueter dorm gola are like hell. And as much as I want to cover this issue, it's quite scary because, what is going to happen to me? These guys, যখন তুমি senior হবো, you want your juniors to know who is boss. They want to make that very, very clear. আনকি তোমাকে মারবে নাকি, you can think of the Abra Fahad thing as well. You don't mess with people who are on top of you. And it's easy for us to say, oh, like, you can empower yourself and don't call them bhaiya and like whatnot. But you're run by them. Those seniors are the ones who run you. এখন তোমার সিনিয়র যদি একটা ছাত্র লীগের মেম্বার হয়, you really think you can go against him and say whatever you want and say, oh, like, I'm going to empower myself? You might end up dead. Like, you never know. We are controlled by them, and like, there's no option. Like, we don't have an option but to call them bhaiya. If you don't call them bhaiya, you'll be the next one on the block, Arki. So yeah, it's a vicious process, Arki. With a lot of the videos we make, we can't do anything about it. আমি যদি rape culture উপর একটা video বানাই, am I stopping the culture? No, I'm not. So একজন একলা একলা কিছু করতে পারবে না. It kind of brings into the collective, and that's what we kind of aim for. যে video শেষে we have a call to action. What can you do? Because that's the most important thing শেষে গিয়ে. Like আমাদের individual contribution, if we all actually go to like the next level, we can all make an actual difference. আমি একলা একলা video বানাই যে I'm going to change the world, না. আমি যদি একলা একলা, if I make videos and I get a lot of people to join in with me, that is when we can make a difference. And that's how you tackle issues like ragging and issues of senior bhaiya and like whatnot. There needs to be a massive collective movement to tackle these things.
And just to add to that, sorry, are you speaking? Yeah, okay. Just to add to that, since we were talking about parents and brown parents, so I've seen a lot of times, Jammer Friendary, Mara, they would actually try to make their children look elite and like try and just put this idea in their head. We're rich, we come from Gulshan, we come from Banani, we will have to look quote unquote rich, and we will have to act a certain way. I've seen people tell their child to not speak in Bangla, to not speak in a certain way, to have a mixture of accents, so that every time people look at them, they realize that, oh, they're from an elite place, Gulshan auntie, Bani auntie. So yeah, I think I've seen a lot of parents who actually force feed this culture on their own children.
But honestly,
yeah, sorry.
if I go really really deep, ঠিক আছে, এই কনসেপ্টটা যে আমাদের ইংলিশ ভালোভাবে বলতে পারা লাগবে, or you need an accent, like all of like I mean parents their perspectiveটাও বুঝি, কারণ this is a colonialistic point of view, যে তোমাদের হচ্ছে we have to appeal to Western people, we have to appeal to the white man, etc. So obviously টপিকটা অনেক ডিপ যায় যে আমাদের প্যারেন্টসরা কেন এই ধরনের টক্সিক ট্রেট inherit করছে, right? কিন্তু I think like going back to what we've been saying again and again, যে the unique thing that we have that our parents didn't is social media, right? And we have that opportunity to look at people who are not as privileged as us, right? And we have that opportunity to read through content or watch content that talks about these things, just like this live, or just like content that Sameer posts as well. So I think while we can't blame the parents as much as we can blame youngsters, I think we can still sympathize with the parents on where this perspective comes from.
Thank you about that. So this is, can we just extend the show for more 20 minutes if that's not a problem for you guys?
No, I'm good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we are actually averaging of 50 viewers per episode per second. That means 50 people are always watching us, and that is actually good because we are actually live and it's a long conversation. So this is probably my favorite part of the episode, that is the elitist or the social celebrity we know. The social celebrity or the social people who always post on certain matters, on certain things, in a long way. We appreciate their content. We appreciate their nature of they are trying to uh, send a message. Like for examples, when somebody is saying someone trying to make a point on transphobia or the homophobia or anything else that actually transfers, it is actually good. But however, they are the people who create this notion that we have to correct ourselves, which is absolutely admirable. But in the end of the day, they carry themselves to the social elitists. That means the woke elitists we know in social media, counterfeiting the other people and doing the same thing that they oppose indirectly again. And these people are actually a large number. I would not name certain people, but these people actually got highlighted in social media a few days ago because that guy did something very wrong, and he was one of these kind of gang, and these people are actually relevant in our society. I guess you got the idea what trying to talking about. Uh, if anyone more further clarification, I use the term different way. Before anyone start to bash me why I'm not calling out the name, there are legal reasons behind it. So yeah, I don't want to get the show banned again. So yeah, I guess you got the idea. So just state your stance, opinion, or how you like to mediate this entire thing. This social media elitist. Yeah. Sami, can you just go first?
Can you sum up the question in short, Ikto, quickly?
Yeah, I'm sorry about taking the long context because I had to summarize a lot of things. So
Yeah.
this woke generation, the people who call themselves woke because they think people deserve the right, are the same people who are discriminating other people just because they are woke, which is a normal trait of a person, but somehow they acknowledge this trait as a very significant way, which should be a normal trait.
So people who are woke are also discriminatory at the same time. So in terms of hypocrisy, okay.
Yeah,
Oh
hypocrisy and then
yeah.
we have to check.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen so many people, mane, like, I've seen certain creators that are canceling people. Oh, actually, like, this guy has done so and so. But then I can't name drop, but there's so many creators out there who are apparently woke and or on an issue that they would spread Jekum. I know Akjon, Kali mask poro. If you talk to his or her friends, you will know that she mask porn. Like, just small things like that. Trying to be woke, trying to go for that influencer tag. They're going to say what will appeal to followers, what will appeal to people, J mask poro. But then in real life, they actually don't. But, they're not going to show that. Friends don't know that. And yeah, it just says a lot about, Jakon. I mean, I might not be doing a lot of the things which I apparently say I do on camera, but that's why it's important to like your friends know. So your friends know what's up behind the camera. And that goes for a lot of the woke influences, like you said. Many of them tend to be fake, and that's just money. But I mean, at least they're using their platform for good. But they're living on social media. It's a
I
different
think
game.
একটা ট্রেন্ড ফলো করে। I'll give you an example. সামির স্কিন থেকে আমরা একটা ভিডিও বের করেছিলাম about pay up, ওই যে গার্মেন্টস এর ওটা পে করা নিয়ে ওই প্রবলেমটা এন্ড এভরিথিং। সো আই গেস আমরা ওই ট্রেন্ডটার এক উইক লেট ছিলাম talking about this. We were a little slow, so প্রথম we were making videos and scripting and all of that নিয়ে একটু দেরি হয়ে গেছিল। So হচ্ছে we uploaded that video and it was a big flop. মানে আমাদের আগের ভিডিওটার থেকে it had less views. So uh, when I asked around, my friends and other people that why do you think it flopped? Do you think the video had some flaws or anything? তখন they were like, no, I think you're late. It was last week, but it was last month, so you're late. So these woke influencers who are out there talking about these stuff, they, in reality, my question is, do they really care? They don't. Again, they are trying to be elite, so they're showing off that I'm woke. Being woke is the new elite, you know. I support this, I support that, whatever is in trend, I support that. And I'm going with the flow, I'm talking about that, being out there. And I think this is becoming a trend, if you're not consistent, if you're just in camera talking about these stuff, but in reality, when you're in a social gathering, you're not sharing or talking about these, or you're not trying to change your younger siblings or cousins, I don't think there is any point of putting these videos out or putting these lives out there and just following a trend or being a woke influencer. They exist, but again, just to be elite.
Thank you so much, Liza. Just go on.
um মানে আমার জিনিসটা অনেক হাস্যকর লাগে, কারণ আমি জানি অনেক মানুষ এরকম অনেক woke act করবে, and then a month later you'll see an exposed post on them. I have interacted with people as well who like got exposed like just weeks after I met them. এখন জিনিসটা হচ্ছে যে obviously এটা impossible to find absolutely everyone's good intentions, right? Or to find out how they are as a human being in general. এখন like I think it's a empty vessel that যেটা আমরা, no matter how much we research, it's a never ending research of finding out fakes, right? But I don't think that any জিনিসটা should ever discourage us from like creating the content that we create or making the kind of stuff that we create is that we make, right? Because I think even though maybe ও poster reshare করছে while not practicing the principles that post shares, but ওই পোস্টটার ওর যে 10,000 followers দেখবে, ওখান থেকে যদি even 1,000 people are influenced to change their mind, I think that's our target, right? Because I think আমাদের মধ্যে যে good intentionটা ওইটা যদি spread হয়, I think that's what we should aim for, and that's what we should capitalize on, because fakes will exist. মানে I'm pretty sure all of us have dealt with fake people in general, but মানে ওইটাই I think we need to keep up on making these content and reaching out to people, and like hope for the best that the fake people will get called out. And recently I think it has become a trend, or I mean not a trend in general, but I think this sort of accountability culture is increasing. So I think as long as that's increasing at the same pace that our content is increasing, I think we're good.
এটা নিয়ে আমি একটা ইন্টারেস্টিং এক্সাম্পল বলি, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go.
আমাদের শুরুর দিকে একটা video really blew up for us. It was called sexual harassment. We could have made a very typical video, where like we went to extreme lengths to get মেয়েদেরকে to like share their stories of how they were abused, কিন্তু we changed it up. We wanted it to be a very big video. আমরা একজন ছেলেকে we found who was willing to share his story. Okay, it was a very big thing for us. Watch it, because like you see these stories online, you guys don't really see a guy. Our Dhaka context is someone who's going to school, a guy willing to share his story, and he did. He filmed it perfectly. We put the video out. It blew up. It was amazing, right? 2-3 months later, we same Chilata is exposed on Facebook. He abused his girlfriend. So আমাদের star of our sexual harassment video is a hypocrite. Completely, like people were telling us to delete the video and whatnot. So that just goes to show that, he actually had a bad reputation. We didn't we weren't fully aware of it, right? So that just goes to show that people can be fake and people might have ulterior motives. Jekon among us, একজন celebrity shared that video, and my friend actually told me that he might be sharing it. That's all good. Kintu some of these people, he has an abuse. I mean, he has a reputation of being sexually abusive. So এখন a celebrity, if he shares this video of raising awareness for this, মানুষ ভাববে, oh, like he cares for this kind of thing. He might not be caring, but we're all trying to maintain our internet personas that we care about this issue. We all care about. So, some people will always have ulterior motives, but yeah, separating the fakes from the real ones.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
also I think it's just so much hypocrisy everywhere, because I've really had good friends, like people I thought who were like the kindest souls to exist, the most nicest people, because I've had people actually lecture me about my own trauma, because we all go through like our fair share of trauma, right? I've had people help me through my trauma just to find out that they've been doing the whole exact same thing. And the way they kept on like bashing my abuser and saying like, okay, it's not your fault, but turns out they were the same people who victim blame apparently. So not everyone you see online, they're just not the same people. You can portray a whole different phase of your life. And yeah, abusers really can mask their entire abusing identity. So just because someone's pretending to be woke online, just because someone's writing a whole ass apology for something they did, does not necessarily mean that what they did was in any way justified. So I think, yeah, and I've also had like so many friends. I've really had this one friend who would always keep bashing couples. Like she had this thing against couples. Like, okay, I do get that age differences are like a thing. Obviously, don't date minors, don't do this, don't do that. But I mean, girl, aren't you a minor? Aren't you dating someone who's like 25 or 26? So before you point finger, when you point your finger at people, you're also having 10 different fingers getting pointed at you. So yeah, just because someone's pretending to be woke and pretending to be all perfect and the savior of the nation does not mean that they're actually the same person. That also brings me to our next question, which is, do you guys think that institutions should have equity panels which ensure the punishment for any violation of rule committed by a student to ensure proper justice in context or frames of elitism?
I'll just add a bit more about to the question you said. I won't talk about elitism, but about institutional role in terms of, making a difference in these kinds of issues. We all know about the Orna Amin thing, a 17-year-old mastermind student being raped by a Greendale 21-year-old.
Maple
So
Leaf.
I think Maple Leaf, yeah, I guess. So there was a huge thing which we all did. Like, April was the first time I saw students going to the streets, making a very big difference. Like, they really were hurt, okay? Well, I can't think a bunch of students, they drew these really nice kind of graffiti hashtag justice for Ornami. I think they put that up on the mastermind walls, okay? And it looked really nice. It really showed, it was like a symbol of the movement, okay? And I just saw Kwaikdin Agyan posted a story of all of them being removed by mastermind staff. They're not supporting the movement. If I'm not wrong, there's this mastermind teacher called Sanowar, I think, if I'm not wrong. I'm going to name drop him. He is basically, he slides into DMs of his students. He still does it. He tries to flirt with his students openly on social media. Mastermind has not fired him. He's still very much there. He's still very much taking classes. And that's just disgusting. Like the school knows about it, but they'll be trying to protect the teachers. It's just not it. Institutions are far off playing a good role in discrimination and issues and living up to their mistakes, like because they're making a lot of mistakes right now.
Yeah, I think in general, like there are so many things যেটা আমাদের institution থেকে আসলে way better হইতো than watching it online, right? Because I think হ্যাঁ sure আমরা অনেক content create করি, অনেক content available, information available আমাদের কাছে, কিন্তু একটা প্রফেশনাল এরিয়াতে একটা প্রফেশনাল অ্যাম্বিয়েন্সে ওই জিনিসটা শেখা আর বাসায় looking at it while you're scrolling on your phone is completely different. And I think when you're scrolling on your phone, তুমি just নিজে দেখতেছো, so তোমার অনেক সাবজেক্টিভ একটা পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে তুমি ওই পোস্টটা পড়তেছো, ঠিক আছে, you may or may not agree with it, but যখন একজন বড় কেউ বা একজন প্রফেশনাল ইন দিস ফিল্ড তোমাকে কনসেন্ট বা এলিটিজম বা এনিথিং ইন জেনারেল শিখাচ্ছে, আই থিঙ্ক মানুষের সাইকোলজিটা তখন একটু ডিফারেন্ট হয়, তখন একটা লার্নিং, আই থিঙ্ক ইটস মোর অ্যাবাউট লার্নিং and it becomes less about showing this off, right? Because Instagram আমরা কি করি, আমার স্টোরিতে আমি এটা দিয়ে দিব and I'll look woke, right? And I think the percentage of people that learn from these Instagram posts that's when it becomes very less. But I think যখন একটা ইনস্টিটিউশন লেভেল থেকে এইসব জিনিসগুলো আসবে বা যখন আমাদের মা বাবা থেকে এইসব জিনিসগুলো আসে, তখন আমরা জিনিসটা সিরিয়াসলি নিই আর আমরা কেয়ারফুলি শুনি যে আচ্ছা এই জিনিসগুলো কিভাবে হচ্ছে বা কিভাবে হতে পারে, right? And so yeah, I think institutions definitely need to teach about why like just because someone is not from a social class you can discriminate against them, বা just because তোমার বাবা এটা থেকে doesn't mean you can go around bullying your juniors. এইসব metrics or এইসব parameters should be set, definitely. But I don't think যে এটা শুধু elitism এর ক্ষেত্রে করা উচিত. There are so many things যেটা আমরা স্কুল থেকে শিখি না, কিন্তু আমরা trigonometry অনেক easily শিখতে পারতেছি, right? So I think if so many complex things, so many complex physics theories or chemistry, or if we can learn organic chemistry, honestly, we can learn about medicine as well. If we are old enough to learn about integration and calculus, we are old enough to learn about how we shouldn't rag our juniors, right? I think এইসব অনেক ছোটখাটো জিনিস যেটা আমাদেরকে শিখানো হয় না, and এগুলার কনসিকোয়েন্স আমরা পরে বুঝি। যেরকম এই সামির যে বললো যে র্যাগিং কালচার গুলো ইউনিভার্সিটিতে এক্সিস্ট করে, দিস উডেন্ট এক্সিস্ট ইফ ছোটবেলা থেকে আমরা ওদেরকে এটা নিয়ে ডিসিপ্লিন করতাম, ইফ ছোটবেলা থেকে আমরা ওদেরকে বুঝাতাম এই জিনিসগুলা। 21-year-oldরা যায় মাইনরদেরকে হচ্ছে রেপ করছে, এই জিনিসটা এক্সিস্ট করতো না যদি সেক্স এডুকেশন আমরা ছোটবেলায় দিতাম। সো আমরা অলওয়েজ ভাবি যে এইসব জিনিস বাচ্চাদেরকে শেখানো উচিত না, কিন্তু এগুলার আর কবে শেখানো উচিত ইফ নট এট এ ইয়াং এজ, রাইট? সো আই থিঙ্ক এসবের কনসিকুয়েন্স আমরা এখন বুঝতেছি, এন্ড বিকজ অফ সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া আমরা আরো প্রপারলি দেখতে পারতেছি যে হ্যাঁ র্যাগিং এর জন্য এই লেভেল অফ সুপিরিয়রিটি কমপ্লেক্সের জন্য এরকম পিপল আর ডাইং, innocent lives are at stake right now. So I think because of social media আমরা এক্সপোজটা পাচ্ছি, and urgencyটা finally create হচ্ছে, which is long overdue. But definitely it should come way earlier and from a better place than social media.
Unayza's point থেকে I want to raise a question. সেটা হচ্ছে যে she was saying যে if we are old enough to learn organic chemistry, if we are old enough to learn calculus, then we're old enough to learn about যে ragging is wrong, but blaming the victim is wrong. But my point here is those teachers who themselves are sexual abusers, they know physics theories, they know how to teach calculus, they know how to teach organic chemistry, but do they know that ragging is wrong? Do they know victim blaming is wrong? Do they know sexual harassment is wrong? But in general, they don't realize যে হচ্ছে they don't realize যে a girl, just because a student is wearing a tight t-shirt on an event, a teacher can look at her, come to her and say something like, oh my god, you're looking so sexy. The fact that that's wrong, our authority themselves do not understand that or do not acknowledge that. We need to start from there. We don't need to change those teachers. We need to change the authority who appoints those teachers. They themselves believe যে victim blaming is all right. They themselves believe যে একটা মেয়ে অনেক টাইট একটা টি-শার্ট পরে আসছে দেখে ওকে টিচার যা বলছে that's all right, ওরই তো দোষ। I myself have faced this. I remember crying on a annual sports day. I was wearing according to Bangladeshi everything, I'm a healthy girl, so I was wearing a tight t-shirt and it was showing off my curves, and a teacher came up to me and she said things that I can't say. আমি এখন বললে মনে হয় আমার এখন আবার কান্না চলে আসবে। আরো 3 years back ছিল, so I was younger and I got so hurt, and now I realized যে she was wrong. তখন I thought যে shit, I shouldn't have worn this, আমাকে মনে হয় আসলেই খারাপ লাগতেছে, but now I understand যে no, she was wrong. Her ideology is what should be changing, not my t-shirt, not my dress.
Right. No, definitely. I think মানে এই জিনিসটা মানে এত it's a loop, ঠিক আছে? আমাদের মা বাবাদেরকে কখনো শেখানো হয় না as kids এইসব জিনিস, আমরাও শিখতেছি না, and future generationও at risk right now. ওরাও কি কখনো চান্স পাবে এইসব জিনিস নিয়ে শেখার? তো I think ওইটাই মানে the change is very urgent and the change is long overdue and এই জিনিসটা আমাদের বোঝা লাগবে বাট এই জিনিসটা অলসো রিলেটেড টু ব্রাউন কালচার বিকজ ব্রাউন কালচারে কিন্তু আমরা লাইক হিউম্যানিটি সাবজেক্ট গুলোকে ইম্পর্টেন্স দিই না সোশ্যাল স্টাডিজ ইম্পর্টেন্স দিই না কিন্তু এইসব সাইকোলজি আই সোয়ার টু গড আমি যদি আমার ফ্যামিলিকে বলি আমি সাইকোলজিস্ট হব they're gonna be like why কেন হবা ডাক্তার or engineer that's the only two professions but আমরা কিন্তু বুঝি না যে these kinds of professions exist because these are important topics and these are important avenues to like protect human behavior ঠিক আছে সো আমাদের এটা এলিটিজম হোক বা সেক্সুয়াল অ্যাসল্ট হোক এগুলো সব কিন্তু আমাদের হিউম্যান আইডিওলজিজ এর উপর বেসড রাইট সো এইসব জিনিস যখন আমরা বাচ্চাদেরকে আনলার্ন করাবো বা শিখাবো ইন জেনারেল তখন কিন্তু আমাদের এইসব প্রফেশনাল হায়ার করা লাগবে not teachers not like you know just not anyone we need to hire professionals that are expert in these fields who can view these sensitive and like tough topics to children and parents as well if needed right so if বাচ্চাদের এরকম সেশনস হয় about consent প্যারেন্টসদেরও হওয়া উচিত প্যারেন্টসদেরও বোঝানো উচিত যে আপনারা বাচ্চাদেরকে কিভাবে বুঝাতে পারেন যে জাস্ট বিকজ ওর XYZ অ্যামাউন্ট অফ টাকা আছে ও অন্য একজনকে যায় বুলি করতে পারে না সো আই থিঙ্ক এই জিনিসটা আমাদের ইম্পর্টেন্ট একটা অ্যাসপেক্ট যেটা নট অনলি রিলেটেড টু আওয়ারসেলভস বাট আমাদের কালচারে অনেক ডিপ রুটেড যে আমরা এইসব নিয়ে কথা বলবো না এইসব ফিলস অত ইম্পর্টেন্ট না বুঝছো So I definitely hear what Salsabil is saying. I've faced that myself, and I think any girl has faced that as well. So yeah, institution. If our family থেকে না পেয়ে থাকি, institution definitely পাওয়া উচিত. And we're paying money so that এই স্কুলটা আমাকে একটা certain level of একটা লেভেলে পাঠায়, একটা লেভেলে সেট করে দেয় as a human being, right? So definitely একটা institution আসা উচিত.
Lastly, I just want to add Iktu in terms of that. Like this is happening right now. Mastermind Dhanmanditi, there's a teacher called Sanwar. He teaches class 10, 11, 12. He flirts with his students on text. He's harassed a few. There's proof for all of this. There's genuine proof. He knows that as well. I think after the Justice for Orna protests, people boycotted his class. They told the school that that this guy does so and so. School did nothing about it. That says a lot about schools like Mastermind, even that they're not going to hold themselves accountable, but hold their teachers accountable. It doesn't hurt. It's just act a teacher. Like you can fire them. Students are not going to attend this class, but they didn't. And student track, can they boycott this teacher's class? You can't do it for you can't do it for that long, and it just goes back. You have to go back to his class. His classes will continue. He will continue to be paid, and these institutions will continue to act like this. And that's just a very sad, vicious process. And for us, it's very important that we still keep believing in ourselves, and we still keep boycotting those classes. We still keep fighting, and we still fight for what's right. So that's what we try and do here at Team Scane. We make content. We're trying to fight for these issues. We don't know if we're actually going to make a difference, but at least we're trying. Okay, like we're just trying to do our individual level best, and hopefully we'll continue to do that for a long, long time.
Thank you, Sameer. I'll just let you guys summarize the through your closing statement or your closing summary about the episode. I'll begin with Audrika. Yeah.
Again, I'll end with what I said in the beginning. Elitism is an irrational belief that is very deep rooted within ourselves, and we can't expect people to change if we do not change. So change comes in with us, comes from within us. Um, you know, only if I change, even if my parents do not change, I can change my brother, I can change my kids, I can change the cousins, my younger cousins, and I can influence my friends. And that's what we're trying to do in Sameer Skane as a team. That's what we're trying to do. Uh, so yeah, to everyone who's watching, I think change yourselves and acknowledge your privilege, but at the same time utilize it to do something good for someone else.
Thank you so much, Unayza. Sorry. Thank you so much, Audrika. Sorry for the fumble. Unayza, you can go on. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll kind of appreciate Sameer in my closing statement. I think it goes without saying, like we all know Sameer Baba here, but um, the very first time আমি সামিরের সাথে আমার কথা হয়েছে, I don't think for 1 second I felt like ওর বাবা রবির CEO. When I talked to him, I felt like, "Athena, I'm here for a job interview, and this dude is really passionate about making all this content, and I want to work for him." And the entire time আমি ওর জন্য কাজ করছি, Sameer has always been consistent about how he doesn't want to show off certain things of his familial background, right? Oh, he has always stayed humble. And even the reason he made this platform has such a humble story. Like the fact that ও এরকম জায়গাগুলোয় গিয়ে যখন ও দেখছে যে মানুষ live like this, তখন ওর ভিতরে এই জিনিসটা ট্রিগার করছে. So I think everyone that's privileged and everyone that watching this should be your takeaway. If someone like Sameer, who really didn't have like any reason to start a platform like this, I think his life would have been completely fine if he didn't have this platform. We don't earn money by making the content that we do. We like the sole purpose Sameer is making this is because he wants to do something for his country while being miles away from it, right? And I think anyone that's watching this, regardless of which privileged class you're from, I think this initiative should exist in all of us. যে আমার যতটুক প্রিভিলেজ আছে ওটুক দিয়ে আমি যারা লেস প্রিভিলেজ দেন মি আমি কিভাবে হেল্প করতে পারি. So I think that's all I want to say, and I think যে everyone, that's the takeaway I want everyone to have. যে if someone like Sameer can, buckle up and make all this content for his country, so can anyone else. Like it's just a matter of turning on that camera and starting to just start talking about something that you find is wrong with around your community. So yeah.
Yeah, Samir, just go on. We are just waiting for you.
Asha, yeah. So I just want to say that আমাকে অনেক মানুষ বলে that your videos don't make a difference. And that hurts a lot because আমাদের একটা video বার করতে এক মাস লাগে. It doesn't take a few days. It takes 1 month. It's a very long process. When someone says that my videos don't make a difference, but when people say that, that these issues are going to stay the same. But when you have kind of negative conversations about these kinds of issues, it will always end with, I can't wait till I move to Canada. Salsabil. I can't wait to leave the country. I want to মানে বিদেশে গেলে, that's when my life will really start. That's very upsetting for me. And আমি যে একটা ভাবমের বলবো that, I don't live in Dhaka. It's very hard for me to say that straight up. But I want people to have faith in the country. I mean, my video I think the biggest thing which I personally am very happy with, which I don't just give the problems, I'm a solution there. And I try and give realistic solutions where people can actually act on it. And I don't want people to watch my video শেষে বলবে যে আমাদের দেশ শেষ. That happens too much, and I hate that. I don't like it at all. যে আচ্ছা আমাদের দেশে কিছু হবে না. I want them to be proud of their country. I want যে আমাদের মানুষরা, they really believe that আমি একলে, if I do so and so, if I tell my friends to do so and so, আমরা আসলে একটা change আনতে পারবো. And that's what I want to keep driving at. যে আমরা যদি সবাই we do our individual best, we can, I think আমাদের generation will do a much better job with our country as long as we keep fighting for it, and we don't lose track of what home is and where home is. And yeah, on that note, I'm really thankful that you guys gave us a platform to talk about this issue. Like, I'm happy that Salsabil and Unayza got to speak on it as well, and you guys are amazing for organizing this, and we're very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, just the last thing, what you guys tell to our audience, তোমরা কি বলতে চাও যে how should they continue watching Unmukto Vasha?
Yeah, definitely. It's such a nice platform for
10 out of
people
10 recommend.
podcasts and make.
Team Scane approved.
Things can approve. I guess people will approve us more in sometimes later or now or later. And for me, from to the team scan, when I actually saw the first video that was, I guess, on Bangladesh, he was talking about how the subcontinent to Bangladesh was formed. Back in a few months ago, I saw that video very first time, I guess, from Ryan's story, and I really liked it because I actually pretty much stopped Unmukto Vasha back then because of something that is happening. But when I actually started to watch the video, I actually saw it grow. I actually saw 1,000 views. Then suddenly, when I was talking to, when I was like recruiting the team, like Afrida, I just went on to actually watch that again. That what has been their reach, and I was like very shocked. I was very happy and shocked at the very same time that they have reached a tremendous amount, and that is very admirable. And I really like that platform. And unlike other things that works on, I really like how he tries to present himself. Even people, I have saw the video of the dilemma, which যেখানে গালি দেয় ওকে যে বাংলা না বলতে পারলে বাংলা বলবা না, and I can relate oppositely, but in reverse, বাংলা না বলতে পারলে বাংলা বলবা না. Uh, so that actually pointed me when I was discussing with Nafi and others. Hey, hello, there is a channel that actually works like this. We should bring them. Yeah, that was probably like a month ago. We should bring them. And Nafi was like, yeah, we should. And team was like, okay, we should check them to what they make. And they were like, okay, excellent, we should. And after some days, we actually did. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful to you guys that you actually guys joined this episode. Hope we both the platform grow on their own way. With that being said, I'm just closing the live. I really have to kind of say, and just close.